Hello people. Have you ever asked yourself what's the best way to get started with Bitcoin? And have you ever wanted to know what's the technology behind cryptocurrency all about? I'm Dominik Heats and welcome on my channel. We are going to start off with some general information. How many Bitcoins exist out there? What's the technology behind it? And what is proof of work? Next up, we are going to look at exchanges. How do you buy Bitcoin? And where do you buy it? After exchanges, we're going to have a look at wallets. What types of wallets exist? And how do they function? How do you install one? And last but not least, I'm going to tell you how to enhance your knowledge of cryptocurrencies. Where can you find further information? The timestamps are posted in the comment section below. If you already know the basics of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, you can immediately skip to exchanges or wallets. If you are a beginner, that's also fine. After this video, you will have a decent understanding about the fundamentals of Bitcoin and also what is the best way to start off with cryptocurrencies. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So let's get started with some background information. In summary, there exist thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. Bitcoin is the oldest one and has the highest market cap of all of them. The current price of one single Bitcoin is at around $9,500. The technology behind cryptocurrencies is called blockchain. With blockchain, you can do amazing things. It is the most promising breakthrough technology of the 21st century. You can think of blockchain as a database. You can store data which is immutable. You can't change it if it already has been written into the blockchain. It's also important to note that blockchain is decentralized. We trust and believe solely in computers. There is no middleman and no central institution. Everyone can contribute to the blockchain, improve it, and have insight into the whole data which exists. The amount of Bitcoins which will ever be available is limited to 21 million. POW, or rather proof of work, is the consensus algorithm of Bitcoin and also many other cryptocurrencies. In proof of work, you're solving a cryptographic puzzle, and you append a new block to the blockchain. For that, you're being rewarded with 12.5 Bitcoins. The mining reward will always be doubling down in the future. In May, for example, the mining reward will be 6.2 Bitcoins. If you think that you're too late to start with cryptocurrencies and blockchain, I want you to remember that you're not too late at all. Blockchain technology is roughly 10 years old. Just think of the internet. It needs some time to find mass adoption. We are currently at 50% of the all-time high of Bitcoin. So if you invested right now, you would still pay half the price than in 2017, where there was the all-time high. Now, although this is not financial advice, you can be almost sure that if you invested 3 years from now, you will still see a lot of profits. That is because cryptocurrencies and blockchain are still very young, and many people don't know about it yet, and which possibilities it has. To get a decent awareness of the cryptocurrency space, you can have a look at coinmarketcap.com. Here you can find a list of many cryptocurrencies which exist out there. They are sorted by the market cap. If we click on Bitcoin, we can see that the market cap is $176 billion. The circulating supply is 18 million Bitcoins. And the maximum amount of Bitcoins which will ever be available will be 21 million Bitcoins. You can also have a look at the chart. As you can see here, in May 2013, one Bitcoin was $120. You can also have a look at 2017, where one Bitcoin was worth roughly 20,000 US dollars. So if you want to enhance your knowledge of cryptocurrencies, I can definitely recommend you CoinMarketCap, and you can learn about more cryptocurrencies which exist. Now let's get back to our presentation. The inventor of Bitcoin is Satoshi Nakamoto, which is probably a pseudonym. The picture you see here is not actually Satoshi. He is actually a Japanese guy whose name is Satoshi Nakamoto, but he has already confirmed that he is not the inventor of Bitcoin. Still, no one knows who it really is. Is it a person or a group? We might never know. What's for sure is that in 2009 he realized a white paper called an electronic peer-to-peer cash system. Many people think Satoshi Nakamoto is already dead. That's because since the Genesis block, which is the first block in a blockchain, 1 million bitcoins have never been moved. The 1 million bitcoins are separated into 3 addresses. So with now knowing the basics of cryptocurrencies, we can have a look at how we can buy them. The most popular way to buy cryptocurrencies are exchanges. Exchanges are a marketplace to buy and sell cryptocurrencies and also Bitcoin. In some exchanges, you can immediately exchange US dollars or euros into cryptocurrencies. In some other exchanges, you first have to buy Bitcoins or Ethereum, which is the second largest cryptocurrency. After you have bought one of those, you can then exchange your Bitcoins or Ethereum into other cryptocurrencies. It's also important to know that if you buy cryptocurrencies at exchanges, you probably have to pay fees. The fees can vary from $2 as it is right now, to $50 as it was in 2017. Back then, you had to pay almost $50 to buy Bitcoins. And also, at many exchanges, you have to buy a minimum amount of cryptocurrencies to make a purchase. I have now chosen 2 exchanges, Coinbase and Binance. But there are many exchanges out there, and it could also be possible that one exchange is not available in your country, but another one is. You have to find out which exchange you like best. What's important here is that you choose trusted exchanges. Because although the majority of exchanges won't scam you, there are also some exchanges out there which will scam you and which are vulnerable to hacking attacks. So this is very important to find exchanges which are already trusted by the community. The best practice is to find online resources where experts review exchanges and tell you if they would buy some cryptocurrencies at those exchanges or not. In the past 4 years, I've made the best experience with buying and trading cryptocurrencies at these 3 exchanges: Coinbase, which is located in the USA, Binance, which is located in Japan, and Bitpanda, which is located in Austria. In all of those exchanges, we can use US dollars or euros to buy cryptocurrencies. And after that, when we already have cryptocurrencies, we can trade them against other cryptocurrencies. One last thing I have to mention before we get started with buying and trading cryptocurrencies is that you have to legitimize in all of the exchanges. So you have to scan in your driver license or passport to legitimize that it is you. That is because of the regulations of the governments. They want to make sure that you are a real person. So keep that in mind, that wherever you trade cryptocurrencies, you have to somehow prove that you are a real person. So I will now show you this process with Coinbase, but you can literally do this at any exchange which is trusted by the community. So we can click on Trade Now, and we can buy, for example, Bitcoins. So we could also buy Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and all these cryptocurrencies which are available here in this exchange. Coinbase might have other cryptocurrencies which you can buy. I enter the amount of euros I want to spend, and then I click on Preview Buy. Then you just confirm the order and you buy the Bitcoins. Then your portfolio will show another balance than before. If you are not satisfied with Bitcoin, you can also go on Trade and then Convert, and then you can convert, for example, Bitcoin into Ethereum. You can enter the amount of euros you want to convert and then click on Preview Convert and then confirm the convert. So now you have Ethereum instead of Bitcoins. If you now want to send the cryptocurrency you've just bought to another exchange or to another wallet, you click on the cryptocurrency you've just bought. So for example, I have recently bought DAI. You will see the amount of your cryptocurrency here, and then you have a send and a receive button. With send, I can send the cryptocurrencies to another exchange or to another wallet. And with receive, well, I can receive cryptocurrencies. It's important to know that if you click send or receive, you're sending or receiving the cryptocurrency which is displayed here. So if I'm going into DAI, I can only send and receive DAI. And if I click, for example, on receive, it will also tell me that I can only send DAI to this address. So I will click I understand. And now I have my wallet address. We will cover wallet just in a minute. I can copy this address and then send it to a friend or to another exchange to receive DAI. If I'm paying with a smartphone, I could also use the QR code which is displayed here. So if a friend wants to send me cryptocurrencies, I will send him this address, and after some seconds, the cryptocurrencies will be displayed here and added to the amount you had before. If you want to send some cryptocurrencies, then you just click on the send button, and now if I want to send cryptocurrencies, I would have to enter the address of the recipient, so for example, of your friend or the exchange, and your friend or the exchange has to click the receive button to receive a wallet address, and you can then enter this address to send funds to it. At Binance or Bitpanda, you have to follow the same process. And now, with the knowledge of how we can buy Bitcoins or buy cryptocurrencies, we can now have a look at wallets and how we can store them. So, wallets are basically a store of value. Wallets allow you to store cryptocurrencies. And there are many different types out there with different security risks. I will cover them right in a minute. In the background, a wallet creates a private key and a public key, which are coming from the asymmetric encryption algorithm. Your public key will be converted into an address, which we have seen before. If you can think back of where we clicked on the receive button, an address was shown, and this was our converted public key. The private key we didn't see at all, and it's important that you keep it secret. You may not share them with anyone. And that's the most important thing you have to remember of wallets. You may share the public key or the address, but you may not share the private key. If someone has a private key, he has access to all the funds. The private key will look something similar to the public key. It's just a number or sequence of characters. But modern wallets will not show you the private key at all. Rather, they show you a sequence of different words, for example 12 words or 24 words, and you have to write them down. These 12 or 24 words are called a mnemonic phrase. Each word represents a sequence of characters of the private key, and if you can remember them without spelling mistakes and in a sequential order, you will be able to access your funds. This is because the private key is different to read and also different to store or to write down. So wallets use words for the sake of simplicity. It's important that you write those words down on a sheet of paper or anywhere else and lock them away in a room where you don't feel that anyone can get in easily. The private key will always be the key to unlock the funds to the wallet. If the wallet has additional security, it will also create a password which you can enter, and then you can have access to the wallet. But if you lose this password, you must have access to the private key to have access to the funds. So that is very, very important. Last but not least, wallets enable us to send and receive cryptocurrencies. As we have seen before, we have a send button and a receive button. So which types of wallets exist out there? First off, we have web wallets. If you can think back to the topic where we were sending and receiving cryptocurrencies, this was actually a web wallet. So if you buy cryptocurrencies with an exchange, the exchange will create a web wallet for you. It will automatically create a private key and a public key. And it will also enable you to send and receive funds. Web wallets have a high security risk, and I don't recommend them at all. So if you have bought cryptocurrencies with an exchange, I would recommend you to immediately send them to another wallet which you own. Next up, we have mobile wallets, and I will show you images of all the wallets which I have here right in a minute. You can download mobile wallets in your App Store or in your Play Store. You will also have the possibility to send and receive cryptocurrencies. Most mobile wallets will replace the address with a QR code, so it's easier to send cryptocurrencies or receive them. I would only recommend mobile wallets if you want to pay for a coffee, for example. But if you want to use cryptocurrencies to hold them long term and not spend them, I would not recommend mobile wallets, because there are still some security issues with mobile wallets. Safer to use are desktop wallets. So most of the cryptocurrency projects like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, IOTA, or any cryptocurrency are offering you a software, a desktop wallet to download from their website. So if you have bought Cardano, for example, which is another cryptocurrency, you visit the website, download the latest version of the wallet, and install it on your laptop, PC, or Mac. You will then create a wallet with a private and public key, and also most of the time a password, to have access to the wallet. Next up, we have paper wallets. If you are using paper wallets, you are printing out the public and private key on a sheet of paper. If you then want to have access to the paper wallet, you have to enter your private key into the keyboard. As you might guess, paper wallets are very safe to use, because you're not storing your private key anywhere on the computer. So you make it very difficult for hackers to gain access to your wallet and to receive the private key. But still, at the point where you enter the private key into your keyboard, a third-party hacker could also latch into your computer or into the communication and then catch the private key. So as a paper wallet is much more safe than a web, desktop, or mobile wallet, there is still a security issue at the point where you enter the private key into your keyboard. Last but not least, we have hardware wallets. And in my opinion, with hardware wallets, you only have a guarantee that no funds of your cryptocurrencies will be stolen at all. The private key is stored on a device. As soon as you have created a wallet, a private key will also be generated and will never ever leave the device anymore. So once the private key is generated, it will be in there forever. I will show you this with a picture right in a moment. So the advantage of a hardware wallet is that it is very, very secure. The disadvantage is that it can be really expensive. The most common companies which produce such devices are Trezor and Ledger. The price of such a wallet will be around $100, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I can definitely recommend such a hardware wallet. If you have a decent amount of cryptocurrencies which you want to lock away and you want to be sure that nobody has access to them and you want to store them in a secure way, I can definitely recommend hardware wallets. If you want to buy a Trezor or Ledger wallet, I will post a referral link in the description. You won't pay anything more, but you will support me with a purchase. So here we have an example of a web wallet. This wallet exists in the browser. Next up we have mobile wallets. This is Blue Wallet, for example. You can download it in the App Store or Play Store. This is an example of a desktop wallet. For example, this is from the Cardano webpage. With this wallet you can send and receive only Cardano, so you cannot receive Bitcoins, for example. Here we have a paper wallet. It shows you the private key and public key, and you can print it out. Next up we have an example of a hardware wallet. This is Trezor, for example. And last but not least we have Ledger, which is also a hardware wallet. In Ledger, for example, two chips are built in. One is roughly here and one is here. This one is responsible for the display and also for the interaction with the computer. Behind the first chip, there is a second chip, which is responsible for storing the private key. This key will never ever leave the device again. If you want to have further information on Ledger and also how you can actually send a transaction or receive a transaction, just let me know this in the comment section and I will make a separate video about this. And to complete this video, I want to talk about the next steps you can possibly make. You probably know this quote, learning by doing. So it's now your time to go out, buy a cryptocurrency, make a transaction and store it in a wallet. You will only learn how this is working by actually doing the things which I have showed you. If you want to dive deeper into cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, there are amazingly good books out there. For example, the ones I have used for my diploma thesis are the ones of Andreas Antonopoulos. He's an appreciated guy in the cryptocurrency space and he has a lot of knowledge. If you are a beginner, I can recommend you the book The Internet of Money. If you want to gain additional knowledge of Bitcoin and blockchain and also the technical parts, I can recommend you Mastering Bitcoin. I will post some books in the description, which I think they are worth a read. If you're a developer and you want to program your own blockchain, there are some great courses out there on Udemy, for example. Now, if you liked this video about the best way to start with crypto, I'd be really glad if you give this video a thumbs up. It was very tough breaking down such a broad term like blockchain and cryptocurrency into separate parts for this video. So if you appreciate this work, I'd be very glad if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have some further questions, I'll be there to answer them in the comment section. And if you want to gain more information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchain, you can check out my channel. I'm posting videos throughout the week to help you better understand this great technology. Thank you for being with me and see you in the next video.